All right, here we are live. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are on day 5 of the Facebook challenge, Close Like a Queen. And I'm so excited to have you all here. And today it's all about magnetizing that ideal client and getting yourself booked solid. And we have an amazing guest speaker I will be introducing you to in just a little bit. But before we do this, Annie, let's just get the party started right. Let's not even do the meditation right now. Let's just go high energy, get some music in the room. So, ladies, make sure your cameras are on and let's get the body moving because we know with motion plus emotion equals long-term memory. So, whatever you are here to learn today to really transform your life and transform your business, let's get into action and get into movement. So, go ahead and stand up. Woo! How are you feeling now? Get the energy rolling. Fantastic. I know I've got my heart rate going. I'm at altitude. For those of you who don't know, I live in Boulder, Colorado. So we're a mile high, right? So when we get moving, we really feel it. So here we are. And as you've been following us all week, we know that sales is a transference of emotion. And so I am embodying that and modeling that to you. Because before you ever get on a sales call, you got to get your energy high. And sometimes it's as simple as reading your Queen of Worth manifesto and turning on some fun music and dancing around. And so make sure that you have some kind of ritual. Today, we will be introducing you to an amazing woman who her name is Kinsey Machos, and she was just rated as Yahoo Finance, one of the business coaches to follow in 2021. And we were able to bring her here today to share with you. I've had so many women sharing with me, yeah, Dr. Kelly, closing is something I'm challenged by. You know what? But even before that, how do I get them to book a call with me? So we have Kinsey here to share that with you. And so I'm just so excited to have you on the call, Kinsey. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Dr. Kelly.
Yeah. And Kinsey, here's what's amazing. I just found this out about her. Kinsey, this is right. Like in your first year of business, you were able to go from 0 to 6 figures. Is that right?
Yes.
Yay! Awesome. 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 All right. So can you share with our audience just a little bit about what you do?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much again, Dr. Kelly, for having me. What an honor and a gift to be here with you and your incredible tribe. I'm a fan of tribes. So a little bit about myself. I've shared with Dr. Kelly my story, but I grew up practically in the corporate space. I did all the traditional things that I was supposed to do, right? But that we're groomed to believe that we need to do in order to be successful. I got my undergrad, I got my graduate degree, I got additional credentials, like credentials for days, you guys. And I had the corporate success. But meanwhile, my husband and I were raising a family. We were birthing humans. And by the third baby, I went back to school or back to my job at the time after maternity leave. And mind you, I'd been through this 2 times before. So it wasn't like I was a rookie. And yet it was like my whole world turned upside down. I had a really hard time leaving my baby at daycare. I stepped into my office, not even recognizing the job that I left or even recognizing myself.
Oh,
So I remember actually in our old home, I was walking across the hallway and there was a mirror on the wall there. And I remember taking a glimpse of myself and I was like, I don't even recognize who I am anymore. I spent all this time climbing the corporate ladder, hustling my face off, and I kind of lost a sense of self during that time. But it was this breakthrough that I had. It was like I had third baby. I also was like birthed a new human myself. But I was like, what do I even do? What do I do? Right? Like I've spent
right.
all this time and energy and money investing in this career that I no longer loved. What's next? And so at the time, what they say, it's like, you only have to be one step ahead of somebody. And at the time I was really good at social media, and just put myself out there, and I sold something online. I had no sales page. I might've had a website, and I sold my first program
Wow.
at $7,000. So
Oh,
since then,
wow.
I've grown my business to 6 figures, leveraging the organic marketing strategies that I'm going to share with you today. And again, sharing other people. How can you build a business around your most authentic self, really positioning you as the expert and bringing awareness around your unique brilliance.
Yay! So happy, so happy, so happy to have you. And so for you, you came out of corporate with so many people, look at where we are right now with COVID. So many mamas are not only having to stay at home to watch the kids, but they're losing their jobs. In fact, I learned recently that women have been disproportionately impacted by layoffs in corporate, much more. I think it was like, 4 times or something. So there is a disproportionate layoff. So there's a lot of women that are probably finding themselves listening to this recording, maybe even on the call today. They're just getting started. And so they're wanting to shift corporate, or they're in corporate like you were, and they were miserable. They're miserable. So you're such a great stand to what's possible when you just obviously you went into massive action and you just did it. I mean, who here would love to have a first offer of $7,000 and have someone say yes? Go ahead and raise your hand. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Right. And so you're also modeling what we model here at Worth International, which is go high ticket first. Because this is why, Kinsey, I know you were able to scale to 6 figures. You didn't start off with a $300 offer. She started with a $7,000 offer. So if you're following me in the chat, put high ticket. If you'd like to have a high ticket and get right out of the gate, like Kinsey did, and have high ticket and build 6 figures, multiple 6 figures. She said that, she did it without marketing and spending lots of money. So Kinsey, tell us more. What are some of your high value, drop the bomb on these ladies, give them your best stuff today.
Okay, awesome. Okay, I have such a fun training for you guys. Again, I'm all about simplifying. I noticed this is something that I took, that I left from my corporate past. I felt like everything was complicated, everything was hard, everything was hustle. I was like, I don't want to build a business around those principles. And so I stepped into entrepreneurship with a completely different mindset than I think most do. But I look around and I see most entrepreneurs just complicate it. So I really want to simplify this for you guys. And one of the questions I know that many of you are asking is okay, I have this thing. How do I sell it? How do I book sales calls? And the most simple thing you can do is this 4-part series that I'm going to share with you again. And again, I want you guys to simplify everything. So first part is we're going to identify your perfect dream client, your perfect dream client. You really have to have clarity here first before you can do anything. In fact, you have to have clarity here before you even create an offer. And so I think a lot of people skip over this. We have this mentality, we want to serve people. I think we have a general concept of how we want to help people, but we never get specific enough. And we have to get down to the level of specificity. So it's one person. And I know people are oh, but Kinsey, what about all the other people I want to help? Well, here's the news. It's really, really difficult to expand your reach and really get known for something if your messaging is muddy. And muddy messaging comes from trying to speak to the masses. And so I really want to encourage you to get really clear on your perfect dream client. This can come from somebody that you've already worked with in the past, and they were they loved you, you loved them, the vibe, the energy was there, they got the results that they wanted, and you would literally replicate them if you could work with them over and over again. Or if you haven't worked with somebody, or you haven't really had that experience yet with somebody, imagine this person. Who is she? Where is she at in her season of life? And I really want you to go deeper than just demographics. It's important to know maybe her age and maybe what podcast she's listening to, what book she's reading. But I want you to go into deeper the internal state. What are her fears right now? What are her pain points? What are her desires as it relates to the thing that you might solve? But most importantly, what are the objections she's going to have when it comes to the thing you're selling, either about the thing or about herself? So we really have to know her, and it's really at the heart and the mind of her. It's not the surface level. So you do have to spend some time here. So we're going to get specific with your perfect person. Everything else that I'm going to share with you now will be so much easier if you do the work to get specific. And here's like newsflash, you guys. Your person will evolve. So don't feel like this is a do or die. Like if I pick this one person, if I pick this avatar, it's set in stone for the rest of business history. The truth is our businesses evolve, which means our avatars evolve, and that's cool, right? But you got to start somewhere. So I'll give you an example. I brought a client into my program, and she considered herself a leadership coach. She's really good at leadership in the corporate space, but she was really trying to figure out where that was landing in the entrepreneur space. She kept saying, I'm leadership coach. I'm going to help you, become a better leader, but it was falling flat. With her content was falling flat. She wasn't making sales. We did a minor tweak in her I help statement, and it was like, I help 6-figure entrepreneurs scale to 7 figures by building a high performing team. How much better is that than being a leadership coach, right? Like so much more specific. You guys, like a week later, she signed her first 5K client. This is the level of specificity that will contribute to many, many dollars down the road. So it doesn't have to be complicated, but you do have to spend the time here. Secondly, I want you to curate an audience full of those people. What does this mean? So we can speak generally on social media. You guys, this is my favorite place to build a business. I think my coach earlier was saying like, there's like 7 billion people on Facebook. Like, hello, opportunity, right? So if you're not building on Facebook, I want you to build on Facebook. If Instagram's your thing, like that will work too. Either way, build somewhere. And instead of looking at social media as you as a consumer of social media, I want you to shift. You're now a creator. As a business owner, you're a publisher and you're a creator of content on social. You're no longer a consumer. So what you're doing is you're creating content just for those people. And what's great about this is we get to curate our audience on our social platforms full of those people by bringing them in with the content that we made just for them. But I'll give you like, if you guys want a super, super secret, like super thing that's working so well for me, that's contributed to almost the majority of my 100K sales this year, is Facebook groups. You guys, these are so hot right now. If you don't have a Facebook group, you've got to get a Facebook group. What's so fun is you get to even narrow in. So your general audience on social media, it's hard to control who really is in demand or in desire for your offer. But we get to actually pull people in that are perfect prospects in our Facebook group. So if you don't have a Facebook group, I highly recommend you starting one. Super simple. Name it with the transformation that you offer. Add in the person that it's for, and you'll be like good to go. So you create your Facebook group. I'll give you an example. I had a client. She's a parenting coach, and she had a really great following on social media. But we just felt like she was gearing up for the launch of her program. She wanted to like really bring in that, sorry, I might be speaking a little fast, I'll slow down. Facebook group, not Facebooker. I get so excited about this stuff, you guys. So she wanted to curate more of this community where she knew they wanted to hear what she had to say, right? It was a bunch of moms. So she launched her free Facebook group, curated that group for probably 30 days, and then launched her program. She had $4,000 in sales just from curating and nurturing that group for 30 days. So the Facebook group is really valuable. Either way though, I really want you to shift this idea that social media is now a tool for business growth, rather a tool for building your prospects, right? Filling your pipeline. So that's second. Thirdly, we're going to, again, create content and position yourself as the expert. And I'm about to blow your mind right now. How many of you guys feel like the expert in what you do? Most people are like, I don't know, like the imposter syndrome creeps in, right? Like there's other people doing what I want to do, right? And they're better at what I want to do, right? Who am I to teach this? I don't have enough experience. And the truth is, you guys, being an expert is really just about making a decision, making the decision that you are the expert and stepping into that power. And what happens is when you actually make this decision, when you're like, oh, yeah, like I am the expert, your content's going to be more powerful, your offers are going to be more powerful, and magnetically, you're just going to be a more attractive character because that power will resonate, that will transfer, that energy will transfer to your audience. So I really want you to make the decision today. You are the expert. You don't need to be any further along than you are now to help someone that's literally just one step behind you. So you got to make the decision, and then we got to create content from that space of you are the expert and we want to highlight you as the expert. What do people need to know? How can you shift their mindsets? What are little nuggets of wisdom that you can share with them that maybe gives them a quick win, but also leaves them wanting more from you? So create content from that space, and it will totally change the way that people start seeing you. It comes from you first, right? This is something that I have another running coach. She is so good at what she does. She actually taught me how to run a half marathon in 13 weeks. Granted, running a mile at the time was literally like death for me. And I was like, girl, you got to teach other people how to do this. And she was sitting in this fear of like, but there's so many other running coaches out there. Like, but no one like you. Same thing. She launched her Facebook group. She launched her program. Now she has a freaking raving community membership around running your first and half and full marathons. But it was that decision that totally triggered and initiated that incredible momentum for business growth and also personal growth. So really just make the decision, create content out of that expert space. And then lastly, you guys, you got to make offers. You got to make offers. I think this is the thing that a lot of my clients get into. They can become such great content creators. They're like showing up as the expert, but then they're like, oh no, like I got to make an offer. Like, oh shoot, right? But here's the thing. And I think this is the biggest fear that I see most people make is like, I don't want to be spammy. And my first question to you is, do you consider yourself a spammy person? And most are like, no, I don't. And so it's literally impossible for you to be spammy if that's not one of your characteristics. And secondly, I would encourage you to look at the fact that you're actually doing a disservice to your audience by not allowing them or not inviting them into this bigger place for a transformation with you, right? How many of you would change someone's life with your gift? Save them money, save them time. I think of the parenting coach. She's like literally transforming these families. The running coaches, like, can you, after my half marathon, I felt like a new woman, right? Like you are changing people's lives with the gift you have to offer. If you're not making offers, no one's going to have that opportunity. So we have to get in the rhythm of making offers. I don't want you to just serve with great value on social. I want you to do a strong call to action, make offers, get in the DMs with people. And you guys, you follow this framework, you're going to run out of time for sales calls. I told my coach this morning, I'm like, I'm booked out for sales calls this week or this month, and I don't want to do anymore. So you will get there. It's simple. Don't make it complicated. I think this is how, if you notice, a lot of it's just managing your own mind, making sure that you are showing up as the expert you already are and bringing in those perfect people that you are like freaking excited to serve. So that's all I have for you. I think that I actually have something fun. We'll share it in a little bit, but one of the questions that I got about like making offers on social, what does that look like? And there's actually a formula for this in like how you can craft a really powerful promotional post that's literally the like least, like if you look at it, you'd be like, oh my God, it's a story. You're selling through storytelling. I have a formula for this. Super easy. You're hitting the pain points, you're hitting the desires, you're adding some value, and then it's a call to action at the end. I might even share that with you guys at the end of this. But thank you so much, Dr. Kelly. I hope that was helpful. I'd be happy to take questions as well.
Yeah, go ahead and take questions. So ladies, if you have any questions for Kinsey, that was amazing. So easy, like step by step. And you make it so that like anyone can do that, right?
Mhm.
I love that. So any questions, go ahead and unmute yourself and Kinsey's here to support you.
I do have one. Hi, this is Karen. I run a private life coaching practice, and then Nikki, who's actually on this call as well, her and I have teamed up, and we have a coaching program for moms that we've built. And so we have, as part of Gal Talk, we have a Facebook group, but we made it private just for the people who are actually in the program, so that we can continue those relationships and they get like exclusive content and things like that. And then we have a Facebook page, but is that enough, or do we really need to get that Facebook group where we're getting people just involved and there's almost like a third hub for where they go to get information?
Yeah, great question. So nice to meet you guys. I love what you do. Obviously, I'm a mom. So first of all, business pages on Facebook get very low visibility. So my first thing is build your content and share your content either on your personal profile and build your network out with your ideal clients, or I'd rather have you definitely start a free group. And this becomes your funnel essentially. All I do is I push people to my free group. I nurture the heck out of them. And then in the group, I'm just running experiences and events for them, right? And then ascending them upward from there. So the point of the group though, the free group, is really creating that space. And especially for the mom space, they love groups like this where they can go to collaborate with other moms, really learn from other, and it's kind of like the safe space. So that would work so well for you guys.
Okay, cool. Thanks for that.
Yeah, you bet.
Great question.
It's Kinsey, sorry. And with that group, do you keep it private, or can anyone on Facebook stumble upon it and join it if it's just kind of something they see, or is it private that only the members can see it?
Yeah, so for my free group, it's considered, I think, a private group, but it's searchable. And this is a hack that I would offer you guys in when you create your group. Really be keyword specific, because once you get the right momentum in your group, Facebook will start to connect you with other like groups, and they'll start to recommend your group to those people. And so be specific in your titling. And when you put, create the description of your group, really stuff it with those important keywords that your people are looking for. Because you guys, people go to the Facebook search bar and literally type in the things that you sell. So be specific there in the titling and the description. So I think, but your original question was, I am searchable, but they have to be approved to get into the group. So I have some pre-qualifying questions. I actually use it to build my email list, super effective. And then we get to approve the members so we can protect that space.
I have a question. Hi, I'm Nikki.
Hi, Nikki.
I'm wondering about boosting posts. So do you post in your private group and then can you boost it, or do you use that for your page? Can you talk a little bit about that? Because Karen and I are trying to figure out how to kind of use Facebook as and Instagram as an advertising tool. But if you could just touch on that.
Yeah, great question. So I really have leveraged organic strategies this year. I'm starting to dip into paid advertising with you guys. It's like, right? It's like a whole new world. So I really would encourage you on that note, like dip into paid advertising when you've got that converting offer and you've got your avatar really dialed in. Before then, you can really leverage that Facebook group to grow and curate a community full of your people. For boosting posts, I never boost posts. And again, I have content on my Facebook business page, but it's just kind of a placeholder so that when I do run ads, people, when they go check me out, there will be things there. But when I create my content and I sit down and plan out my content, my first priority is Facebook group. I create content for my Facebook group, and then I'll repurpose some of that to my Instagram and Facebook business page. And then I'm really building my just general Kinsey brand on my personal profile, sprinkling in still business things, right? Because I'm still pulling people in. So did that answer your question? Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
I feel like I could go on forever, but I want to be obviously cognizant of time. So
I have a question.
Yeah.
I texted it in the chat. How do you get people's phone numbers? Because you can collect their emails. I mean, I'm offering a free gift, and if they click on the comments below, it takes them to my website with the free gift, and then I can get their emails, presumably. But I don't know how to get people's phone numbers.
Okay, so I'm generally only using Zoom for my sales calls. And I use something like Calendly link where I send them the link to schedule the sales call. So I don't even have to give numbers. And how I'm giving them the link, when I have a prospect either commenting on a promotional post or they're highly engaged in my group, I start a conversation with them in the DMs and I just get that going. And I'm like, hey, let's hop on the phone. I would love to understand where you want to head a little bit better and see if I can partner with you in that. And then I send them the Calendly link, which then connects us via Zoom. Does that make sense?
Somewhat.
Okay. So, yeah, and I don't know, Dr. Kelly, there might be additional training in that, but Calendly is really helpful. And I think there's other
I have
platforms like it.
Calendly. I have Calendly connected into my website.
Okay, so for you, if you're sending people to the free gift, it sounds like they're opting in for that. Then in your email, you want to push them to a call, which we have to think about what's in it for them, right? We're selling all the steps. So even if we get them the free gift, what's in it for them to get on the phone with you? And that's the content you would create in order to take them to that next step, to book a call.
So if this is like my free gift that I send them, and this is like the gift that I've mentioned on Facebook to get them in, and it down here is my phone number.
Oh, okay. So I would include an opt-in link right there instead of your phone number.
Oh.
Yes. So, and you can either include the Calendly link and say book a free session now because, right, we want to like do the why do they want to book a free call? Or there's a way that you can create a short link for that Calendly link. And so it's a little bit cleaner, but either way, that's what you do. So if you want to get, next level results, book a call here. And that's the link you would include.
Is it possible for you to like send a text or something or in chat exactly what to do at that point? Because it's very hard for me. I'm a really slow note taker and you're a very fast talker. And this is like majorly big stretch for me to learn because I'm 78 years old and I've never done any of this stuff before.
You're amazing. Let's give it up for Madeline. I mean, come
excited.
on, like you are amazing being on this call, and this is being recorded. So Madeline, you'll be able to go back and listen to this in the Facebook group and take your time and stop and take your notes and stop and take your notes. So don't feel like you have to for anyone who's listening, don't feel like you have to get it all right here, right now. You can go back. We are taking the videos down next week, but up until at least Monday or early next week, you'll have the opportunity to listen to those videos. Is that good to know, Madeline?
Well, it would be nice to be able to actually see what that would, like what that would look like, as an addition to a post.
Yeah. So what Kinsey was saying is if the call to action is to book a call with you, you don't need their phone number, because when they book a call with you for getting whatever your offer is, and you're saying, hey, you can book a call with me and get this, the book a call, like Calendly will do that work for you. Said differently, not, old school marketing was like, here's my phone number, give us a call. No, people aren't picking up the phone. They don't get my phone number unless they've taken an action to book a call with me. So my phone number is not out there in the ethers for people to come and call Dr. Kelly to work with her. So you're making that offer to just book something with you, and then the software will do all the work for you. Does that make sense?
So have this where they could print it up, but the book a call would be a separate piece in the same email that this would be sent to them in.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Well, I know we have so much to cover, so thank you for all the fantastic questions. And Kinsey, do you want to go ahead and just, as we're right here, I think it'd be a good time to let them know where they can follow you. If they have follow-up questions, where can they follow you online?
Yeah, awesome. So you can find me on Facebook. That's my favorite place to hang, or Instagram at Kinsey Mackis. And then you can check out my Facebook group, kind of see what I'm doing in there, what's working. It's marketing and launch strategies for coaches and consultants, but you'll see it in my profile as well. So thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. And at the end of the call, I'm going to share with you some really cool things that Kinsey and I have put together. So
Yeah.
make
And
sure
I
that
do
if
want
you're
to
listening-
add just real
Yeah.
quick, Dr. Kelly, like, you know, one of the things, I just had a virtual event. I don't even know what month it is, you guys.
It was like last
This-
month, because I remember I talked to you right
I was about to say
beforehand, and we had
January.
call.
It was definitely not in January. It was in November.
Okay.
And it was my first virtual event. And it was the first time that I would be doing this, like selling my offer in a very different way. It's, you know, the pitch, right? And Dr. Kelly could sense some of my anxiety. Anyway, I consulted with her. And you guys, literally, my mind was blown. Like, this framework that she walked me through allowed me to really step into calm and power and be like, I have the golden ticket. Why would I not share this? And I nailed my pitch at my virtual event. I think I brought in like 35 or 34K in sales. And it was literally thanks to Dr. Kelly, because she allowed me to really get in the mindset that I needed to be to like be in alignment with the way that I wanted to sell as a female. So
Yeah.
I just thank you for that.
Oh, thank you, Kinsey. Thank you. Yeah, Kinsey, you rocked that. I mean, it was a fantastic event, and you were in your glory and in your expertise. And then, as you said, being in that space of that golden ticket offer, which is what we teach, it's like, who wouldn't want to work with Kinsey, right? Like, we've had 15 minutes with her, or 20 minutes. Like, ladies, can you tell how magnetic she is, right? So when she makes an offer, it's not a push. She's able to lean back like the queen. And that's how I do train. So Kinsey, thank you for bringing that up. Fantastic. All right. So what we're going to do here is we're going to pivot. Before we pivot, let's do a quick recap from what Kinsey just shared. Tell me, what's the biggest takeaway you got from what Kinsey just said or shared, and what I call like just a little nugget, like one sentence? What was your biggest takeaway from what Kinsey just shared? And just unmute yourself and speak into the group so that we can all have that repetition.
That I'm a curator of social media content and not a consumer of it.
Oh, that is good. Annie, can you put that in the chat so we can all remember that? That's really hot. That's really hot. I love that too. What else, ladies?
I was going to say, yeah, go ahead, Nikki.
Oh, I was going to say identify the perfect dream client.
That's why we're business partners, because I was going to say the same thing.
And I was going to ask
are
the
just
same
sinking.
question. It's so funny. Yeah.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Awesome.
That was
awesome.
so helpful. Thank you, Kinsey.
Yes.
Call
Thank
a
you.
Calendly link in email in the body of the email that contains the gift.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. All right. Like we do in the style of Worth International, let's give Kinsey some love and some sparkles. Receive it. Receive our love. We're so grateful for what you've just provided with all of us. Fantastic. All right. And I'm sure many of you are going to want to go back and listen to that, because she shared a lot in a short amount of time. So you can go back and take notes. And then again, like I train, it's not about like Netflix binge watching. It's about taking notes and then doing what? Taking action, implementing, right? It's not about what you know, it's about what you implement. So there's things this week even that I know that you heard me speak about, and your brain may have thought, I know that. Yes, but are you implementing it? It's all about the implementation and the action. And one of my coaches says, do it now, do it now, do it now, do it now. All right. So keeping that in mind, let's go ahead and go over some of the new content from today. And then just like I shared yesterday, I do have an opportunity for you ladies, for those that it's the right fit, to work with me more, and even also with Kinsey. So we're going to save that to the end. But let's go ahead. If you can pull out your worksheets, we're on session number 5. And it's so funny. I was just thinking about, do you remember the song like Mambo Number 5? Does anyone remember that? Man, if we could cue that up right now and we were at a live event, I'd be like, let's play Mambo Number 5. So anyway, the top 5 questions consumers ask themselves. Do you think this would be helpful to know? Yeah. Yeah, because we want to get in their minds, right? And so there's a lot of psychology to this. So the first question is, does the fill in the blank have my best interest in mind? So does the salesperson have my best interest in mind? They want to know that you're not just trying to sell them something, that you've been listening on these sales calls. You're going to listen so much more than you talk. I actually encourage you, and I would encourage you to ask permission to start recording your sales calls. And if you're talking most of the time, I know you're not closing your clients. I know it, right? Because it means that you're not listening to their pain points. You're not listening to their vision. You're making assumptions, and those assumptions will get you in trouble. We want that connection. Remember, it's the foundational pillar of a female sales model. So they want to know that you have their best interest in mind. You're not just trying to make a sale. Number two, what will this product or service really, and the fill in the blank is mean? So what will this product or service really mean? Like, what will it mean to them, right? So you might have an outcome for them, like for our sales training, the outcome is to double the number of clients saying yes, right? That's our mission statement, right? But I have no idea what it means to them, right? So if I just lead with my mission and I have no idea what it would mean to them, the mission might be enough to have some people convert, but it's the difference between having a 40% conversion rate and a 70% conversion rate. You need to know what it would mean to them. Question number 3, what will I have to fill in the blank, give up? What will I have to give up? Now, this is really interesting. So obviously they're going to have to give up some money, right? And in sales psychology, we know that actually decreases in their mind status. If they're losing money and that is how they're framing it, they've got to give up money, right? But if it's positioned properly, their gains are going to be so much bigger. So you might need to give up some time to really study this, right? But what are you going to get on the back end that's so much greater of what they're going to give up? Okay. Some people might even be thinking that they've got to give up friendships, because if they have a low self-worth and they're used to charging $100 sessions, and now they're going to charge $400, $500, $1,000 sessions, they might think my peer group now, they're not going to accept me. Do you see that? So it's really important for you to get in their minds. How do we get in their minds? Ladies, unmute yourself. How do we get in a prospect's mind?
Ask questions and listen.
Amen. Yes. Ask questions. Ask a lot of questions. And in our academy, we teach the FBI secret approach, specific questions at specific points in that sales conversation. Number 4, what will my fill in the blank think of me or say about me? So it's what will my friends, maybe my partner, maybe my spouse, what will they think or say about me, right? If you have a high ticket item, right, the spouse might think you're crazy, right? And let's just say maybe you've already purchased a course before and you didn't take action. Spouse would say, well, you didn't take action last time, so why would you take action this time? So really be thinking about, they're thinking about judgment from their spouse. And then the 5th thing is, do I really need this fill in the blank now? Do I really need this now? And going back to the compass earlier in the training, 4 points around the compass, which one do you think really, what role do you think you're playing when you're able to answer the question, it's time to do it now? Unmute yourself. Do you ladies remember? I want to really get this anchored in the 4 rules. What's that?
South?
The South, standing in the fire. Absolutely. Absolutely. When you can stand in the fire, that there's a great cost, do it now, do it now, do it now. Not a month from now when it's more convenient, because we know a month, I've told you before, I've had women that call me months later, years later. I haven't gotten a decade later yet, but I haven't been in business that long, where they'll say, wow, we had such an amazing connection and I knew you're my person. I knew you were my guide. And I didn't think it was the right time. And it's cost me so much, because my business still now is at a point where, I haven't really grown much. And so the cost of time, right? So the do it now, do it now, do it now, you need to stand in the fire for them. And there needs to be a logistical reason for them to buy it now. Okay. And so people buy on, what do they buy primarily on? Pain or pleasure? Do you remember that from earlier in the week? Unmute yourself.
Pain.
Yes. They primarily buy on pain points because they're in pain and you're there to help them, right? So the ability to stand in the fire and be willing to reflect back to them, what is the pain going to be? What is the cost going to be if you don't do it now? Right? So it's going to be emotional, right? It's going to be, you know, there's many different things depending on your line of work. So like Karen, who works with mamas, you know, what would a pain point for them be, Karen, if they don't do it now? What would a pain point be?
Well, they'll just continue to live their default life and not have any improvements and be miserable and disorganized and all those good things.
Exactly. And there's a real cost to that. You know, I work with a lot of businesswomen who have been in business for many years, and they're ready to quit. Like they're exhausted, and they've been doing it. What I say is the masculine way, which is do more, do more, do more, do more, do more. And they're just, and so they fall into my sacred space. And I let them know there's a better way where you're only working three weeks out of a given month. And you have a month of integration where you could travel with your family. You might do marketing things around your business, but we retrain them for a feminine sales model. And they're like, oh my gosh, please. Right? So yes, identifying and stirring up the pain, the actual stirring up of the pain was from what role? You ladies remember what role or what direction was the ability to stir up the pain?
The healer,
the healer from the West. Yeah. So each of these roles plays, as I said, really important in not just this phone conversation, but the position of your social media and marketing messages and the positioning of your emails. Like you've got to be able to go around that wheel, all right, of emotion. Okay. So here's what I want to share with you. Let's see, what was next? Oh, I want to share with you a quick story. And, you know, Kinsey was so amazing at how it can actually be quite simple. And we both train with someone who is an easyologist. And this easyologist named Eileen Wilder is going to be sharing with you tomorrow. It's our bonus section. She's going to train on how she made $143,000 in 60 minutes. Pretty amazing. And one of the things that she really helps us to really see is making money is actually not that hard. There's actually models out there that work, that are proven, but these are not things you're just going to find on Google. If you could find them on Google, everybody would be doing them, right? And we look at the industry in general in coaching. I think I read recently, it's like less than 10% makes six figures and more or more. Right? It's not, and that's like my standard for women that I work with. Like that's the just beginning goal. Like, let's get you six figures and then scale from there. Or let's go ahead and take that multiple six figures. Let's get you to $1 million. And let's not work so hard doing it. Now, I'm not saying that, you know, being in business can't be challenging sometimes, because it can, right? Like I got to be real with you. But studying with people like Kinsey and myself, we're easyologists. We ask the question, how can we make this really easy and really simple? So the story that I have is I used to have a little dog and her name was Sammy. And Sammy was this little red heeler. And her goal in life was to get the squirrel. And we used to say Sammy was amazing, but if she got squirrel brain, she was all over the place, right? Like forget about Sammy on a leash in squirrel brain. All right. And she would just drag you. And she was such a sweet, docile dog. But when she had squirrel brain and she saw the squirrel, she'd do everything, work so hard to go get that squirrel. All right. So one day I'm actually inside of my house looking out the window and Sammy's outside. And I see her like I've seen her so many times, bark, 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 looking up the tree. And it's a beautiful fall day. And I'm watching my dog bark at the squirrel and they're having this interaction. The squirrel is the goal. Ladies, you all have your goals, right? And you want it so bad. And many of you are working way too hard, let me tell you. Okay. So anyway, bark, 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 bark. Then you watch the squirrel come down and go back up and come down and go back up, right? But eventually, this was the shocker. Are you ready? I witnessed for the first time, I'd had this dog for probably 6 or 7 years. The squirrel came all the way down the tree, walked across the grass. She's like, and she's stunned. And the squirrel now is looking eye to eye with the dog. There's the thing she has been working for years to be eye to eye with the squirrel. And she was stunned. And she had no idea what to do. Now, why do I tell you this story? It's because in that moment, she's a dog. She could have eaten the squirrel. The squirrel was this big. She's a dog, right? You ladies, Kinsey has taught you, and just if you implement what she taught you today, you'll get the squirrel right in front. Like you'll start to get the thing that you want, the prospect, right? She taught you how to get the prospect. So my job today is, how do you get the prospect to actually become the client? Okay, that's what we're talking about. And what's the cost if you aren't able to take the prospect to the client? It's a big cost. It's your time. It's your money. If you're spending money on any advertising, right? It's like, we can take you, whatever money that you might be spending on advertising, decrease it by 50%. Because if you just doubled your sales, your income just doubled. And something called the cost acquisition cost just went down, right? So anyway, let me share with you a little bit about something I've really been wanting to share with you. And I've made reference to it. But before we do, Annie, can you go ahead and bring up a little clip? Bring up the front page. I've been talking, have you ladies heard me say Academy? If you heard me say Academy, go ahead and put it in the chat. You knew it was coming. Remember, I told you sales is not about pushing, right? And you know what? This isn't going to be a fit for everyone. In fact, we've got some really great surprises for you. All right, so the Academy. So Annie, if you're able to bring up our our testimonial reel, so that women can see what I'm talking about. These are women that I've worked with, and you've met some of them this week. Not that one. Can you actually bring up the sales page that we're actually not using? So the Academy, I'm going to tell you right now, this isn't available to the public, and we've decided to make it invite only. So you're going to see join the Academy now, and actually you can't. But because you ladies have been with me for 5 weeks, or not 5 weeks, 5 days, I want to share with you a little bit about the Academy. So go ahead, if you can, Annie, if you can play that testimonial reel.
Working with Dr. Kelly has been such a joy.
I have her in my pocket to call her at any time.
It became like the highlight of my week.
We know the sales trainings out there where it's like 50, 100 people in a mastermind and you're following a template. It may be a program, but are you really getting that refined, like heartful, deep listening perspective that Kelly brings? That's the distinguisher that's going to lead to consistently more sales, and the investment will pay itself back like tenfold very quickly.
She really helped me align myself so that I found what was really important to me, and that was being the visionary of the business. I'm proud to say that I hired a managing broker who's now one of my business partners, and we've grown the business significantly. My life looks totally different now. I own my house. I actually just sold it, and I'm moving to my dream spot at a resort on the water. And I'm able to make these choices because this is what I love.
I feel like I stumbled upon her, and it's been an utter miracle to have her working in my life.
This is not something that she's just starting to teach. She's been living it.
Looking like our income will be up 300% over last year.
When we don't have someone that's holding us in that supportive structure like Kelly does, we can get stuck in our story and shut down and not even have the sales conversations and just make up stories about it and want to quit.
She's the best investment I've ever made in myself.
It's been an amazing journey, and I can't wait for it to keep going.
It's made so much of a difference in my life. You'll be lucky to work with her.
Yeah, it'd be nice if you guys could hear me. All right. So this academy, I want to let you know a little bit about the history here. As it says, is just join the academy now, but we're not allowing people to join. We've decided to make it invite only. And let me tell you why. Is because I only want to work with women that I want to work with, quite honestly. And let me tell you a little bit about how it started. And you can go ahead and take that screen down if you want, Annie. So how did this all begin? Well, it began, and Annie, I actually will need to bring up, I'm just realizing, I want to share Kathleen's story. And so if you're able to bring up the image that so Kathleen and many other women were in a high-end mastermind with me. And literally the investment was 23 grand to be in this high-level mastermind. And so I was in this mastermind serving a different community. I was working as a love coach, quite honestly. And I've done that for years, for over a decade. And what I was discovering, time after time, we would get on what we call these board of director calls. And I found myself coaching them on sales. They're like, and so one day, Marcella, who you met yesterday, was like, Dr. Kelly, why aren't you training people in this? And I said, well, actually I am. I don't make it available out in the public, but I have many women who, once they find love, they hire me. They're business women. And these are the women that stay with me year after year after year because their income is going like this. So I've been doing this for forever, but I had never really considered leading with it. And Marcella said, you know what? It's actually a disservice that you don't share this with people. And I've just watched you. And will you share us? How do you do that? What's your system? How do you do it? And so I'd find myself in these BOD meetings week after week after week, training them and coaching them. And so finally COVID hit, and I was looking at the statistics, and I was watching other coaches, their businesses were dropping out. Was mine? It wasn't. In fact, our business was growing. So I went, you know what, quite honestly, how could I withhold this information? And I felt like it was so much bigger than me that I was chosen to share this. And so that's why this academy is here. It's because I really care. And it started with caring so deeply about my sisters in this high-end mastermind. They had the funnels. They had written the books. They had signed up with this coach and that coach. Some of them were working already with 2 coaches. But what was the gap is that clients weren't saying yes to their high ticket offers. And I saw some wounding around their worth. And me as a healer, like I got it. Like I realized I had been given a gift that what came easy to me did not come easy to most women. And remember, I shared with you on day 1, it's not always been easy for me. There was days that I just gave it all away. And I undervalue my services, but I would always over deliver. And so anyway, I just want to let you know, that's why the academy is here. And it's not even available to the public right now. I'm only making it as an invite only. So let me just share with you, if it is a fit for you and it speaks to you, then I'll share with you how you can learn more and apply. And there are going to be women that get everything that they need from this training. And so I bless you wherever you are on the path, but this is so much bigger than me. And so go ahead, if you can, Annie, go ahead and bring up Kathleen's, we want to kind of just show it. Now, she was on the call yesterday, and I just want to kind of give you an idea. She was not in the testimonial reel. So as you know, Kathleen went from corporate. She was like high-level CEO, making multiple 6 figures. She had the BMW. Back in the day, I think she even told me at one point she had like the fur coats. So I was like, really? So anyway, but she had all the things. Like she was able to go to all the finest restaurants. Like, can you imagine what life would look like if you were able to fly first class and you could take your families on vacation? Can you imagine what it would be like if you could, give a huge check during COVID to a nonprofit that you cared about, like we did with Girls Leadership? Can you imagine what it would feel like when you go into a store and you can stop saying, I can't afford it? So Kathleen had already on many levels was incredibly successful. She had a health crisis at a very young age. She actually had a heart attack. And she realized that she was exhausted in corporate and she wanted to start her own business. So when I met Kathleen, she had already been in business many years, quite honestly. And as I said, she had written the book, she had done all the things. And so I said, Kathleen left corporate America as a multi six-figure earner, but in private coaching practice, she was undervaluing her services. And she just couldn't figure out why clients were not saying yes to her coaching programs. So when I began coaching Kathleen, that was her starting point. You know, she went from multiple six figures in corporate. She had been in business for many, many, many years. She was well networked. She had so much going for her. But again, like many women, and this might speak to, that she was undervaluing her services and sometimes not even making the offer, quite honestly. Right. And so I was meeting, you know, weekly at these BOD meetings. And so anyway, so I got to coach her quite a bit. And we did a lot of sessions, you know, helping her. I just wanted to help. So this is what she says. She says, Dr. Kelly got me to the root of this feeling of worthiness. After our training, she increased her rates and launched her golden ticket program offer for the first time. She knocked it out of the park and generated nearly $50,000 in sales without even using social media marketing strategy. And I'll also say without any paid traffic. It was her network. It was her network. You can go ahead and take that line. And as I said, she is a thought leadership woman making such a big difference in people's lives. So go ahead and raise your hand if you'd like a story like that, and maybe 50K. You know, Kinsey shared 6 figures in the first year, multiple 6 figures, like, right? And as an easyologist, as a queen who leans back, right? It's not about working harder, ladies. That's the myth I'm here to break. You know, we're told, go get an education, get a good, I see the mouth, get a good job, right? And I was told that, you know, and it didn't provide me the happiness. It didn't provide me the health and the wellness and the prosperity and all the things that come with that. So just like Kathleen, I want you to be able to be a stand in your wealth. I do believe that high ticket, if you want to scale to 6 figures, phone conversations are one of the fastest ways to do it. You learn your market because it's one-on-one. And once you master one-on-one, you know, I talk to women, I'll say, you know what? And they're like, I just want to hire somebody that does all that. I don't like sales. So if you find yourself to be that person, I was, right? I was thinking, if I could just hire someone. The reality is if you hire someone before hitting 6 figures, you really don't know your market yet. You don't know their pain points. You haven't had enough conversations to put what you do in their language, right? And so these one-on-one conversations are so important. So let me share with you a little bit about the Academy. Would that be okay with you, ladies? Go ahead and shake your head. Go ahead in the comments, say yes. Right? Because you know what, women don't want to be sold to, but you know what? I want to share this with you, right? And here's what I invite you to do. Whether or not we work together, I want you to listen how I do this because I'm training, I'm modeling. Okay, so I'll tell you, I love to hear offers. Why? Because I'm learning. I'm like ottering it. If you guys don't know about Otter, I turn the Otter on. It's an app on my phone and it transcribes it and it takes an audio recording, right? And so this is awesome. I love offers. I love to see high ticket offers. So anyway, the Academy. What are the 3 foundational things in the Academy? Module number 1, and actually, yeah, you don't need to bring it up. I'll just go ahead and write it. Module 1, we have 3 modules, 3 main modules, and this is only over the course of 60 days. I'm all committed about you ladies getting results in 60 days. You don't need years like it took me literally 6 years before I landed my first high-end client because I didn't know this stuff. All right, so module 1 is think like a queen. Okay. Module 1 is think like a queen. Now, I know a lot of you who have been following us this week. I've done a lot of mindset stuff, and there's probably been stuff like, you know, you might be thinking, I know that. Yeah, but do you implement it? Do you implement it? Do you really own your worth? So this is what I needed to do when my coach challenged me back in 2015. I had to think like a queen. And here's what I can tell you. Kinsey just modeled that so well when she shared. Was it, by the show of your hands, how many of you were surprised when she was like, first offer 7K? How many were surprised? Right? Like, oh my gosh, she is exemplifying the queen. There are many women that would try to come out of the gate with something and they would get no's. Why? Is because there's not alignment with the offer with what you feel inside. And if that gap's too big, you won't make the sale. So Kinsey really is a rock star and right out of the gate. So anyway, the inner game, it's about the inner game. We're going to teach you to build out your worthiness triad to be the queen on every sale. So the worthiness triad, it's something I developed the very day that my coach challenged me, is who I needed to be. We gave you a template. We gave you a manifesto. That's a great start. It's a beginner start, right? But we want to be able to dial in uniquely because you uniquely have mental blocks. They're unique to you. And we need to be able to pull those out and clear them out, like clear the trash out before you get on a sales call so that you can easily make a 7K offer, 10K offer. Many of you will probably start with a 5K offer, right? And close that gap. In module 1, we're also going to 10x your confidence in charging high ticket rates. And we're going to create your unique pre-call ritual to overcome your limiting beliefs about money and sales. There are very few women on the planet, honestly, that are 100. I've never met somebody that's 100% clear around their money stuff. Like we all have stuff. We all have stuff. All right. And many of you, it's really holding you back. Module 2. Module 2 is goal setting the queen's way. Okay, goal setting the queen's way. Here's what we're going to do there. So again, first you think it, right? So you get yourself in what we call state, all right? State management. And the second thing to know is you need to know what you really, really, really want. What are your goals? And the trainings that I've had by many top people, their goal setting strategies didn't work, honestly. Raise your hand if you've tried a goal setting strategy and it didn't work. Anyone ever do that? Or keep your hand up if you've had the experience where you set a goal and over time you lose the energy behind it. And so you just stop. Okay. Keep your hands up if you've ever set a goal and because you didn't believe it was possible, you gave it up pretty fast. Yeah. Yeah. So we really want to teach you a new way to goal set that's a feminine way, right? But it will have the masculine structure. You have to have both, especially with goal setting. All right. So during this module, we're going to reveal your superpowers to fuel any goal for the long haul. All right. So like Kinsey gave a great example and I had something similar. When I decided I wanted to run, have you ladies ever heard of a Tough Mudder? It's like you go out, you run like a half marathon, but you're going through mud and like electrical wires. Back in the day, I actually decided I want to do one of those. And it was in the decision that my destiny was shaped. I decided to do it first. And at the time I couldn't run. If I ran for even like a little bit, my low back would hurt, my knees would hurt, right? So I decided first, and then I hired a coach. And let me tell you, my background, I'm a chiropractor. I know how to do it, but I needed someone to hold me accountable and to train me on what do I do now? I had never run a half marathon, right? So it wasn't about I could go and read a book, but you know what? She kept me on pace. She strengthened me. And within months, so that was, let's see, that would have been in the fall, that following spring, I ran a half marathon and I did the Tough Mudder and I did it. And I would have never thought, in fact, I was even able to do the thing where there's the monkey bars, and you have to swing and you're up above, like high in the air, and there's the mud underneath. And in my mind, every day I would visualize me on the monkey things, right? And at the time, I couldn't even like hang on one. All right. So I just want to let you know, you decide first. you figure it out later, right? And we're going to support the women who are fit for this program, teaching them a goal setting strategy they'll have for the rest of their lives. All right. I use it every day. So, so we'll reveal your superpower. You're going to discover the #1 missing ingredient in goal setting that causes women to fail in business. There's a key ingredient that we'll teach you. And then you'll also learn how to use your Queen's Way goal setting template. We're actually just going to give you a template. So all you have to do is fill in the blank, and we'll walk you through it to train your brain for success. Many of you, you've not trained your brain for success. The third module, which actually is a big module, but it's the third one. Because if you don't have, let's see, if you don't have 1 and 2 in place, the Queen's codes won't work. They're not going to work. I'm going to tell you that right now. So this is all about mastering the Queen's closing codes. Okay. And actually, if you want to bring that up for a moment so they can see a visual of what we're talking about, Annie, many of you probably already seen this visual, and you may have even read all the steps. All the steps is kind of like the very like surface level. Like you could read it and maybe start to make some changes, but it's not enough to implement it. And there's a lot of psychology behind it that, you know, you can't provide in just a template. Like we go deep. So what does it mean to this mastering the Queen's closing codes? We want to help you to master the psychology of sales through our unique FBI feelings-based inquiry that has clients begging you to work with you. Like, I kid you not, I get to the end of a call if I go through all of these steps, which I do every time. I'm like a pilot. My husband is like, you know, he can't believe that still to this day, I bring up my Queen's closing codes. And then I also bring up my confident closing script, and it's specific questions in specific order. I have those things memorized. I've been doing this for so long, but I still have it like a checklist so that I don't miss a beat, so that it's proven and it's replicable. In fact, my husband, he's come back to me several times. He'll bring me a jar of peanut butter. If we say, you know, smoother than a fresh jar of Skippy. Do you ladies know what song that is? It's Bruno Mars. And there's a part in the Bruno Mars song when he says, smoother than a fresh jar of Skippy. Now, I like Jif, but my husband has shared with me, because he can't not sometimes hear things, is when the Queen leans back, sales is smoother than a fresh jar of Skippy. And he'll literally say nothing. He'll grab the thing of peanut butter and he'll come and he'll put it on my desk, because he can hear the energy of like when you lean back. And so that's what I want you to ladies do too, is to be able to lean back like a smooth as a fresh jar of Skippy. All right. So that has to do this with the psychology of sales. And then I'm going to go into these 7 steps in a second. So in the process of the module 3, we're going to go through all of those steps. And if you look at the visual, it's about bringing your potential clients, your prospects, on a journey. And it's an emotional journey, and they ride up the mountain with you, up, 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 up. And then they start to descend a little bit, because their goal, what they want, when they get off the call, they're not there yet. So emotionally, right, they're excited, right? But they know that, like, oh my gosh, they know they're clearer. They're clearer about that goal. And so there's a psychology behind. In fact, not many people know this, but my undergrad degree was psychology. I loved psychology so much. I used to do stereotactic surgery on rats to understand their brain chemistry and how they learned. So that's my geeky side. I'm here to admit it. No one actually knows this about me, except probably like my husband and my family, like a little known secret about Dr. Kelly. My whole point in saying that is I've loved psychology from the time I was a little girl, understanding why do people do what they do, because it fascinates me. And I've studied psychology deeply so that it has helped me to actually serve more, because I understand why people do what they do. Why do they say yes, right, but their actions say no, and vice versa? Okay. So second thing, we're going to use sales NLP. Has anyone ever heard of NLP? Raise your hand if you've ever heard of NLP. Okay, so part of the group. NLP is called neuro-linguistic programming. I'm going to geek out here again, but it's the ability to ethically get your client to say yes to their ultimate dreams. Because let's just say they shared with you what their ultimate dream and goals are. And often, because they have thought about it for so long, they'll shrink. They go from, this is what I want, but I don't think it's possible. This is what I think, but right? They shrink, right? So how can you ethically give them an opportunity and have them feel confident that they can do it? All right. So we're going to do some teaching, some NLP, and it becomes effortless. All right. And then finally, practice your sales conversation through live role playing to receive coaching on mastering sales. All right. This is the game changer. This is the game changer. So remember I said, it's not about what you read or what you know, it's what you implement. Have you ladies, I'm just curious, unmute yourself. Have you ladies ever actually practice what you say on the phone with somebody over and over and gotten debriefing? Some people, yes, no, some mixed.
I've definitely practiced myself, but
okay. So
yeah.
There's a huge difference between practicing yourself, which I encourage you to do, and having someone like myself audit it, or have someone like myself or an accountability partner. So people, women who join the academy, you're going to have somebody. We're going to spend a whole week on role playing, and confidence is made through action, not thinking about it. Right. And so you may have practiced, right, your offer, but we want you to be able to make an offer, right? And then you're going to debrief. I have specific questions that you need to ask. You're going to learn from that, and then you're going to iterate. So you get to earn why you learn. It's a earn why you learn. And we're going to do role playing to make sure that you're getting through, that you're ascending, you're getting better and better and better. So your closing rates are going from 20% to 40% to 50% to 60%, sometimes 89%. My coach who trains me, she right now is going to be joining us tomorrow. Right now, she's like at 100%, and she's training me, right? So I'm not going to lie, I'm not at 100%, right? But recently she's been at 100%. And to be in the academy, you're not going to need to pay the kind of investment I've needed to make to actually learn how to ascend, right? And be in such service. So anyway, those are the three main modules. Okay. And would it be worth it if all you got out of in 60 days was the ability to have one, like get it paid for by just having one high paying client? Would it be worth it? Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you, I, as I said, took many years to cultivate all of this. And when we were putting this together, I wanted to make it like the best training on the planet for women. And I'm a stand for that, right? We've not taught the academy. So if you end up signing up, you'll be a founding member, and we have some specials for founding members. But I will tell you, I've been training in this for years. Just like I said, I've been training the high end women that are already making great money, helping them to ascend. So let me tell you kind of the bones of it a little bit more. It's 60 days. It's over the course of 60 days. It begins after the first of the year. And there was one other thing I want to show you. Oh, here we go. Let me just give you the nuts and bolts. So what's included? So those are the basic structures over the course of 60 days. Woo! Okay. And so let me just give you the bones, give you the structure. Okay. The structure actually is the masculine. All right. Like, how are we going to go? What's the blueprint? How are we going to go from A to Z? So the first thing, you're going to have the Queen's closing codes, an in-depth training on that. We're going to give you 60 days.
Dr. Kelly, it's hard to read that, but
You want to just pull it up? Yeah, that's actually easier. I forgot we did that. So we can actually crank through it. And I am, my penmanship is like a doctor. So I apologize. So let's just go ahead and we'll bring up the slide of just the nuts and bolts of what's included if the academy ends up being a fit for you. So the first thing is you're going to know the Queen's closing codes from the inside out. You're going to know it from the back of your hand, and you're going to be like a pilot, like myself. I have it in front of me during every sales call, even though I haven't memorized. Okay. You don't want to miss a step. You're also going to have 8 weeks of peak performance sales training with me. You're going to have 3 hours of elite group coaching with me. We're going to give you the script. Remember yesterday, it's not about memorizing, but I want you to become comfortable with basically anything that someone would say, that you have many ways that you could respond. The problem with just memorizing a single script, it feels very robotic. So we're going to actually give you and train you on the confident closing script, so that you have many options. You become very advanced in that. We'll also have weekly breakthrough assignments to master your sales games. Here's what I noticed during this training. There are a lot of women that didn't do their play. And so it's that worth activation play. If you don't play full out, you're not going to get the results. So during this training, you have accountability. One of the reasons I was able to do the Tough Mudder was because I had my coach weekly, you know? And so just like that, you can ascend, you know, in 60 days, get what many people, you know, spend years trying to figure out. Next, you get the Queen's Way goal setting template, which we talked about. You'll also get a golden ticket masterclass, and you're going to get a Close Like a Queen mastermind Facebook community. So just like Kinsey shared, we're going to have a Facebook community so you can actually share what you're creating, what's you know, getting feedback. And as I said, we're going to be role playing. And then we're going to just give easy, like done for you follow-up templates so that you know exactly what to do. One of the women was asking yesterday in the session, I said, what would you need to make it a no-brainer, to join an academy, make it a no-brainer? And one of the things that she said, if you guys were listening, she said, you know, how do you retain clients? My client retention rate is like, seriously, like in the 80s. It's like really high. It's why I'm like booked out, right? So those are like the main things. And we've got a ton of like bonuses. But we're not going to actually, let's see, can you bring up the bonus just for highlights? And then I can share with you what happens next. So here's the cool thing. Here's the very exciting thing. Kinsey is part of the program. So if you become in the academy, she's going to actually share the messaging part. She's going to do a whole piece on that. There are prices in, okay. So what we have decided to do, so let me just give you some highlights of what I can remember. So Eileen Wilder, who's going to be with us tomorrow, she has a whole business in a box. So this academy, you may have never had a business before. We can train you from ground zero to scale. All right. So she has a whole business in a box where people have paid up to $6,000 for this business in a box. You're actually going to just get access to it. All right. You're also going to get access to Kinsey and her masterclass on messaging. You're going to get, there's a woman from Scotland. If anyone have heard my mission statement, growing businesses for women who are ready to play to their feminine strengths. How does it just roll off my tongue is because I trained with this woman from Scotland, and she's also going to be a master coach. She's going to do a master class. There's just so much stuff. You get 2 virtual tickets, so you can bring a friend to our virtual training that we'll do in the spring. And so that's part of it. And really, my coach, Eileen, is on me right now, because of what I'm willing to actually have women sign up and say yes. I have decided to just make it a no-brainer because I'm so excited. And you better believe the women in my mastermind, they're like, oh my gosh, we can't wait. Like, so we already have women registered, but they're the only, like my peeps, right? Because they know the value and they've witnessed me make a difference in their lives, just like this will make a difference in your life. And then finally, at the end of December, we're going to have, I did a little fun with this, a ceremony. So ceremony, but a ceremony on a full moon. All right. Before we're just going to come together. We're going to set our intention. And over the course of 60 days, you will double your sales, the number of people, of clients saying yes. And that's my mission. That's my mission. Shall you choose to take it on? But we're not making it available to everyone because I wanted to make it invite only, because I'm making it the cheapest it will ever be. And I'm picky about who I want to work with. So if this sounds like a fit for you and you're ready to do it now, you don't want the learning curve, you don't want to have to pay for traffic, you want to upscale, you want to save money, save time, then your next step, we've put together a Close Like a Queen cash machine. All right, you can say thank you. The Close Like a Queen's cash machine. It is a breakthrough coaching session, because here's what I learned in these 5 days. Because Worth International, even though I've been training people in this for a long time, it's still a relatively new business. And I want to learn more about you. I want you to have a Close Like a Queen cash machine now. I don't want you to have to wait to our training that officially starts later. So all you'll need to do, Annie's going to put it in the link below so that you can book your session with me. I've cleared out my schedule for the weekend. Okay. And there are only a few spots. Because as I said, I wanted it to be an invite only. But here's what I can promise you is during that call, you'll be able to 10x, like crazy pants. December's going to rock for you, because we're going to train you and help you to get that vision. Don't wait until 2021. Let's get it now. Let's do it now. So to have that Close Like a Queen cash machine, let's get it set up now. And so the only way I know how to do that is to actually talk to you. And we'll see if the Academy is a fit. We'll see if it's a fit. We'll see if we want to work together, right? Because I want to make sure it's a good fit for both of us. And I'm confident that if we both decide, like, it's going to be a business strategy session, so that you're going to make more profit no matter what, whether you join the Academy or not. And so that's what we've decided to do, because I'm picky about who I want to work with. And as I said, I've got a booked out one-on-one practice. I don't need the money, but I want to make a difference. And as you can tell, I get a little emotional because I'm a little passionate about women owning their worth and like cranking it and not having to work so hard. So good or good? Does this sound like a good early Christmas present? You ladies like, woo, up in here, right? I only have a few spots. I know on this call, it's a small group, but it will book out. We've just cleared my weekend, because next week, my week is crazy with my one-on-one clients that I already have. So we want to make sure that we can serve you with that Close Like a Queen cash machine. And at that time, I'll share with you more about the Academy if we think that that's the best next step for you. And I only can tell is after I've had the chance to talk to you and really dive in. All right. So let's do this. I'd like to, in the room as we wrap up today, share with me what your biggest takeaway has been in this challenge. Biggest takeaway. As they're looking at their notes.
I don't know. It's too much to choose from.
Give us two. Then.
There's a lot of things. I just love the idea of having this like ritual. I think like before you have a sales call, and then just like the feelings-based inquiry. That'll be my two.
Awesome. The secret FBI. Love it. Madeline, you want to jump in? Tell us what your biggest takeaway is from this training?
From the whole training or just today?
Either. How about give us what will be abundant. Give us one from today, and then give us one from the whole thing.
Well, from today, and it's kind of a concern question, is that it seems like it'd be great if I was basically about helping women in business or create.
That's a great
business.
Question.
But my focus is, and my strength is in relationship.
That's awesome.
And so I felt like maybe when you said that you weren't able to really make it until you went into helping women with their business.
Oh, no. I had a multiple six-figure business in relationship coaching.
Oh, okay.
But great question. I'm so glad you asked, because there's women that are listening. They're going, yeah, but it only might work because of other women like business to business. Absolutely not. I learned how to scale multiple six figures working. I started out with health coaching and I pivoted to love coaching. So I've done both, and now it's business coaching. So So yes, I'm so glad you asked that question. That's fantastic.
Yeah, so that's the main thing that and then other than that, I have come up with, I mean, there's so many pieces there, but I feel like it was really helpful to figure out how to put the call button in my email where I gave the gift away.
Beautiful.
And the importance of really recognizing that Facebook and Instagram is a creative endeavor and a way to keep expanding my own messages in a very specific way. And I probably have to create yet another Facebook group or do something else there, and I'm not sure how.
Totally. I get that. Absolutely. So thank you. Anyone else want to share and put their voices in their room? Biggest takeaway from the training?
I'll share. Sorry, I had my video off, but I loved everything that's been said already, but I also really enjoyed your naming of things, like the Queen Code. It sounds so, it's very alluring and perfect fit. And
thank you.
Makes me want to learn more. So I feel like that's an important piece to creating your program, is what you name things.
Absolutely can make all the difference. And that's why we actually positioned Kinsey to come teach a little bit today. And in the training in the academy, she's going to be helping people kind of like narrow in, because it makes all the difference what you name something. Like it's either magnetic or it's not, and it really can make a difference. So yeah, so thank you for bringing that up, and thank you for the compliment. I really appreciate that. So
yeah, thanks for the training.
Yes, beautiful. So if you're listening to this on the replay, we'll be sure to drop the link below in the Facebook page. We are opening up just for the weekend. We may have gone into Monday, I don't even remember. But be sure to, let's get on a call and let me see how I can help you. The Close Like a Queen cash machine is really, it's like building your cash machine. And that's what we're going to get clear about your vision and some of the mechanics. It's something that I couldn't do in this. And as I've shared with you, I always want to over deliver. And then we'll talk about, is that your best next step? And either way, Queen leans back. Like I'm good. I'm just here to serve. I love to serve. And I love you ladies so much. I've been told I care too deeply. But I don't think there's such a thing, quite honestly. I take, I consider my clients like my family, and here's what I can tell you. You won't find a trainer that cares more than I do. You won't. I know that for a fact. So anyway, thank you. Let's go ahead and let's put on some fun music as we let's do a last little dance, and then be sure to join us tomorrow if you want to learn how to make $143,000 in 60 minutes. Come listen to Eileen, and she is going to be amazing. Same time, 2:22 tomorrow, and come listen to her magic. So let's end with a little dancing. And be sure to click the link. We only have a few spots, so be sure. Let's get on the call together. Eileen Wilder. She is amazing. She's one of my coaches. So come see her, and we'll see you tomorrow at 2:22 and book your session. Decisions are made. When you make a decision, it changes your destiny. So decide now to be the multiple six-figure income earner. Decide now to go ahead and make it to $1 million. Let me help you. I'd love to help you. I'd be honored. All right, ladies, signing off.